talking about. That I brought the computer that didn't even work from. And the bike that got my ass in all this trouble was purchased from this same person, his family, him and his mother. And now here I am in all this shit for trying to be a social stimulating growth and all this type of idiocy that got me all screwed up. That's why people don't try to stick their neck out and help people. Okay, now let me tell you what happened. He went over there, Mr. Cracker. That's why I use that word cracker, because that's just what he was. His motivating factor was his racial heart, his hatred that he doesn't have any melanin. He hates everyone that does have it. So he goes over here and teams up with another melanin recessive liar. Another liar, just like him, because they both lie. And the lady lied too. Here go 3 white people lying right now to try to make sure that I'll be a failure. So that I've been out here riding up and down these alleys, picking up shit. This is the 3rd time I done got accused of stealing something, but this is the only time that a policeman got involved and pushed this. Now I'm going to say something in defense of the Vancouver police. This shit has been happening to me since I've been here. But other policemen have come up and saw the bullshit and kept it pushing. They like, I'm not getting involved with that. This man is not doing nothing wrong. But this one cop, he the one who set it all off, because if he would have did better police work, none of this would be going on. Now he went over there and talked to those people and let them know that I had that bike over here. They remembered selling me the bike, and they never said anything to him about a bike, because somewhere they got confused about me stealing the lawnmower, and I believe it's the neighbor who told them all this shit implementing me that might have stole the lawnmower. If there was indeed a lawnmower theft, I don't know, I don't care. All I know is I'm responsible for what I do. That's all that I can control. So yo, he sits up and he comes back with the guy. I'm in the parking lot talking to my neighbors about how stupid he was, because everybody was agreeing like, this is an idiot. And while we sitting up there saying he an idiot, he pulls back up in the parking lot with Kyler in the car with him and yells across the parking lot to me, I need you to go in your apartment. So that's just what I did. I went into my apartment. I'm like, this idiot, I couldn't believe it. And then him and Kyler come up there and walk around my truck, and I'm standing in the door looking down at him. I can't believe this guy done brought this man to my house, is what I'm thinking. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at Kyler, and I'm thinking to myself, they trying to set me up. And that's just what they was doing, and I know it too. So I say, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sit here and be cool, and I ain't going to even let them trip me out, because I know that's what they're trying to do. So I just sat there, and I kept watching, and I thought I'd get my camera and film what was going on, but I was too upset and too angry, and I thought that it was going to go away so fast that I'd be done put all that work in, and it wouldn't pay off. So I just kept watching, which I thought at the time was more important. So while I was standing there looking out the door and paying attention to what was going on, after they did the walk around my car, they went over to the area where the bike was parked at, where the bike was chained up at, where I was telling you earlier I had the altercation with him for him accusing me in front of all my neighbors, yelling that I better get the lawnmowers back or he's going to confiscate my truck. All that idiocy. Very unprofessional. Everybody out here know that even though me and these neighbors have problems because of the social difference and the racism that we've all been taught from these corporations and the corrupt system of government that exists only through dichotomizing the masses, even with that being in effect, there has never been any altercation out here between any of us personally as civilians that's intense as the altercations that occur when police officers like that one in question come on property. They are the ones who do the most damage and cause the most inferiority complex, and the most feeling of nothingness comes from corrupt policemen like him. He made everybody out here know just how nothing they are when he just went over there and cut that freaking chain and didn't care about anybody else's property, and then used the fire department because a fire truck showed up and gave him the bolt cutters to cut the lock off. Now, everybody in the court system, now that I'm in here with this stupid lawnmower charge, you should see them. All these white people in the court system now is looking at me like I have come in there for murdering 5 people and burning up a house and castrating a little boy and all the things that will be synonymous with the type of rhetoric and police efforts to incarcerate someone and make a bad person be off the street. The energy that they're using around this stupid accusation of me stealing the lawnmower is costing the state so much money. And I know why they're doing it, because it's all racially motivated. Because they don't like the ideal, first of all, that I am a confident black man. They don't like the ideal that I can influence people and make people listen to how ignorant they are. And so I have helped a lot of people get over health problems and mental complications. My biggest thing is that I just want everyone to know they need to be responsible for themselves by being responsible for how you think. And that's the reason why I spend a lot of time putting my ass on the line to try to help people become the self-confident person that I am. And believe me, it causes problems with the people that does not want to be involved in a world where people have confidence that they can do better. You know, I mean, it's really the truth about it all. None of that stuff is gonna ever be anything that you can see coming together on the terms that's not implemented through the same acts of violence that has it implemented as it is right now. It's going to have to be returned to its natural balance under the same type of circumstances that threw it off of its balance. So quite naturally, when you see a person like me moving around with my head up and feeling confident that I'm a God, and actually telling other people that they should try to return to their God status, so we as a people in all general can move forward and do something that's worth our having in existence. Because if we're not doing something that's going to be taking us to a God consciousness, then we're obviously doing something that's taking us to something lower than a God consciousness. And what is that other than something lower than a God consciousness? Okay, so now since I talk this stuff and I don't implement Jesus, then I become a threat to the people that has used Jesus to control everybody and make everybody stupid as hell. So that's why this policeman comes in here and gets involved with these other corrupt citizens, drug addicts, and set up this bogus charge on me. And that's why I'm sitting here right now, and I should be riding through the alleys picking up scrap metal so I can pay for my high living bill, where I have to pay for water and gas and oil and electricity and toilet paper and everything that I have to utilize to sustain myself. I have to give to the same people who, and according to the judge yesterday, well, you can have your own lawyer if you can pay $2,800 for it, if you can afford that, or you can represent yourself if you're competent enough. And he was so confident that both of those matters did not apply to me, and he know they did not, because I was standing in front of him. He could see my ass was broke. Well, I wouldn't even been in there on a stupid lawnmower charge. My lawyer would have went in there and told them, come on, let's push it through. I know your greedy ass wants some money. Here you go. But see, they got to have a reason to sustain their existence in their court system. So if people is not committing crimes, they got to make natural occurrences of people's actions become crimes, so they can make a system of crime occurrences so they can justify the need for them to have a court system. It's all based on the perpetuation of straight corporate abuse. Let's not forget, these are the same people that enslaved everyone in Europe and then went around the world, enslaved everyone in Africa, and now got every one of us here in America enslaved. And you can listen to the brilliance coming from my head, and you should be able to figure out that I have not went over no damn fence trying to steal some freaking lawnmowers and a damn bicycle. Here's the most latest report that I wrote. I am writing this letter in regards to a circumstance involving me in an alleged theft accusation on 07/12/07/09/12. Officer number came to my house address that will inform me that he had been informed by a person unknown to me that I had been sought in the area where a crime had been committed involving the theft of a lawnmower. I asked him who the victim was that was making the complaint. He replied that at this time there had not been an official report filed. He said next that he was investigating information that he had received from a neighbor who saw me in the area and had taken down my license plate number. I replied that I had been contacted by Kyler, that guy that sold me a computer and a bike at a yard sale. I also told him that Kim had called me and inquired also about the lawnmower. I went on and said that while riding through the area near the accuser's home, I stopped by a yard sale to just check out what they had, and I brought a computer from Kyler for $20. Kyler also tried to sell me a bike, but I did not like the price. Kyler received one of my flyers from me and $20. I took the computer and left. About 21 days later, I received the menacing accusation around theft of a lawnmower. I told the policeman that if he wanted to see my proof of a purchase of a computer, I did not have the computer because it did not work, and I threw it away. I next informed the police officer that I had received a call from Kyler Mount, a woman named Kimberly. Kimberly lowered the price of the bike, and I brought it. Went back and got it and bought it home and changed it up to the chains at Will and Dave house that I was telling you guys about. I was letting him know all that stuff again that I just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? And then I informed him that the bike was still there. And then you guys all know what went on after that. But, you know, it goes on to the point where I want you guys to listen to this part right here. Okay? This is what I really want to point out. I said, my citation was given to me for theft with no description of what the item was. He helped to build this bogus theft case on me, and my theft item on file is a lawnmower, not a bike. Now, your police officer and Kyler and the fire department and all of the private citizens that's involved with this matter and know that it's bogus and does not do anything to prevent this from happening is all and are all fascist Nazis. I hate to point that out, but it's true, and it's very sad. Sad, but true. Now, the word fascism is simply the word fascism with the E removed from it. Now, fascism is what we can call, if you want to, biological racism. If you put biological racism in the place of fascism, or if you put racial prejudice in there, none of it will really do the justice of what fascism is, because fascism gives a description of an operation of a government known as fascism. Now, they tell you that started in Germany and all this sort of stuff, but that is not true. I'm going to tell you, from my opinion, fascism started at the beginning of mankind in general, but it was something that was controlled. But the fact of it running amok and becoming to a level where it was not put under control and it grew itself to become an adverse condition, this occurred with the advent of the Europeans. Now, fascism is a system where it does not necessarily have to be a dichotomization of skin complexions. People use sectors of location in the European existence to have their incontestant wars and things like that. They will be the same families sometimes and the same tribe, and like animals will compete to see what was the strongest male, and by strength and ability to murder, that would be the alpha male, because he was the one that was able to establish dominance through having greater strength. Thus, we live in a world now that proclaims the strong survive. All of this is European conceptualization. It has nothing to do with a universal concept of a God-centered intelligence. Okay, now, we're dealing with the reality of why things are the way it is. And I say that it's because of fascism. That was your first step of fascism right there, when the strong survive comes up. Because, see, when you believe that the strong survive, then what you could do is put a group of strong people together and keep adding the strong powers with each other, and then the strong powers can prey on the weaker powers. Now, this is what happens when you have a government that's supposed to be for the people, and they forget about that, and then they become a government that's for the government. And if you want proof that a government could be for the government, one of the indications or one of the symptoms of that is when you can see a whole country that is suffering while your government is perpetuating war, building concentration camps, and building more prisons. And the people that targeted for these things, if you're not wise enough to figure it out already, are your children. So while you walking around here hating on someone else because of the unique way that the universe made them and wanting them being victimized by the oppressor, and you think that's not your problem, okay, keep thinking that. Because when tomorrow comes, you're going to see how wrong you were. Because, see, the thing is, you are going to